where are we holding on to something that's actually limiting us when there's an opportunity for evolution beyond what was? And that doesn't mean we don't honor and respect what was passed on to us and appreciate what's passed on to us, but sometimes it's just ripe for evolution and for growth and for the next phase and the next chapter. Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. Hi, everyone. I always start with the same hello, so I thought I'd start with a hi. How are you today? This is our next episode of the Energetics podcast. And my name is Veronica, and I'm here with my lovely partner, Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hello.
And welcome, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here energetically, consciously. We appreciate it. We thought we would dive into the concept, the conversation, the contemplation around traditions today and how we look at it from an energetic perspective and what it can create for us and the ways in which traditions can limit us, depending on how we look at them and how we approach them. Kim, do you want to kick us off?
Okie dokie. So traditions is, it's almost like, that saying rules are meant to be broken. Some are and some aren't, right? And so for me, traditions, I've experienced some traditions that, no, you don't want to mess with that, right? Maybe somebody else will, but for me, no, I don't want to mess with that. I like it as it is. And so for me, traditions are along the line of, that's really cool. That's how we've always done it. And now let's bring it a little up to speed or not, right? Mother's Day, for example, if Mother's Day wasn't celebrated or at least acknowledged for my mom, and I'm going to say for me too on that one, then I would feel like it was missed, right? Like for me to call mom 2 days after Mother's Day and say, Happy Mother's Day, she would feel like I missed the mark. You know what I mean? And so, some traditions like, Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, Mother's Day for sure. For me, it is a specific. It is. What about you when it comes to like Mother's Day?
Yeah, I mean, because at the time of this recording, Mother's Day is around the corner. I don't have a lot of meaning around it, to be honest. So if we do something, great. If we don't, we don't. I know my daughter will make me something at school, and if that's all it is, then that's fine. But I think really what it comes down to is what we value, right? And what's important to us. And so knowing that that's something that's important to you and that you value, then you honor that, right? And for me, it's maybe it looks a little bit different. So so we think about the regular celebrations that we have. They're really like, I see them as portals, energetic portals that create an opportunity with a specific frequency, a specific energetic signature that we can tap into and leverage to create an energetic expansion, or we can choose not to, right? But that's how I look at them for myself personally. So I don't have a lot of meaning or strong expectations or attachments. I see them as opportunities instead.
And that's exactly it. And so like for me, if somebody doesn't hit my birthday on my birthday, that's not a big deal. However, when it would come to, like I said, my mom, even though it might not be a big deal for me, it would be for her. So there's some traditions that, oh my God, like, hey, somebody gives you, this is the traditional cake. Well, I'm going to play with that recipe. Do you know what I mean? And then there's other people in my family who might say, yeah, but that wasn't traditional. It's like, no, it wasn't. And so, I think, like I said, that some traditions, they're all can be really flexible. Every single thing on the planet can be really flexible. Navigating in a way that works for you, but also being aware, ooh, that person's going to be, upset about that. Do I care about that? Yes, no, right? And sometimes it's like, no, it's okay that they don't get it. This is what I need to do for me. And then there's other times where it's not a big deal for me to be flexible on this one. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. For sure. And where are traditions limiting us, right? Where do we feel like we have
Oh my God.
held on to them because they've been passed on to us, or they're others' expectations that we feel like now we need to uphold them, when really, when we really were to, if we were to really check into what we truly desire or what we're looking to create in our lives, the traditions don't actually fit. And so, where are we holding on to something that's actually limiting us when there's an opportunity for evolution beyond what was? And that doesn't mean we don't honor and respect what was passed on to us and appreciate
Yeah.
what's passed on to us, but sometimes it's just ripe for evolution and for growth and for the next phase and the next chapter.
I love how you brought that in because 100%. It's kind of like, I've been certifying others in Reiki since the 90s. And there is a ritual structure, if you will, to giving an attunement. I don't mess with that. For me to mess with that, then I wouldn't be able to have the integrity to say, yeah, this is a Reiki attunement. However, when it comes to doing sessions, I've shown people how to take it right out of the box because that's how it was done how many years ago, right? And consciousness is changing, our bodies are changing, everything's changing. So why would we do it? And you can still do it that the way that it was taught, whatever years ago. But what if you just put away the paper of this is what it looks like and just get in the energy of what it can be now? Otherwise, oh my God. So when Reiki first started being done, and I'm using the word Reiki simply because a lot of people know what that is. When Reiki first started being shown to others, there was never any hand positions from the belly down because that was considered, oh, you're getting too close to some gear there, right? And then eventually they started doing on either side of the hip and below the waist, right? And the knees and like, really? And so yeah, exactly. So there is the tradition, and at the same time it's like, okay, so what does this want to be now? What is the energy? How does this want to shift now? And even now, if you were to look at, the hand positions, if you will, in a Reiki manual, yeah, they go head to toe, but there's no shoulders, elbows, wrists. There's no arms. Well, a lot of people are working on devices now, so arms are, we need more of that in there. And so again, it's like constantly as we change and evolve, so can our traditions, unless we want to keep it in a box, and there's not a wrongness in that, but does it want to be in the box, right? It's like, does it want to be in the box? And on your point about limiting, if I only ever did the hand positions that are in the manual, well, jeepers, somebody's elbow might be saying, hey, me, hello, do you hear me? And I'm like, it's not in the manual. and so yeah, so traditions can limit us if we allow it, but when we're listening and being present in the moment, then we can receive the elbow saying, hey, what about me, instead of going, well, you're not in the manual. It's like, and so yeah, there's many, many, many things where traditions are great. Oh my God.
Yeah, and the I guess the guide that we follow, for our yoga, breath work, body movement that we both really love. He talks a lot about how there were thousands of years that were spent in creating and understanding the specifics around the way the body's held or the way the breath is utilized. And so it took a long time to refine and to develop and to understand it. And so there's a lot of beauty in that. And we can tap into all of that, and we can also say at the same time, okay, and then what? To your point, like, what is the next phase of this? And maybe we are meant to simply be receivers and experience all of the wisdom and knowledge and intelligence they brought forth, or maybe we're meant to evolve it And so it's just really about being curious and being aware and being conscious and just constantly being in the question of, is this, what's this creating for me? Is this still in alignment with what's working for me or not? And if not, what else might be possible here?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that I think is super cool with tradition changing and growing and expanding is it used to typically always be that the man always got down on one knee and proposed to the woman, right? And now I see all kinds of women who have proposed to the man. And so for me, I still like the idea for me of the man proposing to the woman, right? Again, it's looking at the tradition. So that would have been the traditional thing, right? However, in someone else's world, that's like, yeah, I'm past that. And that's the thing, is that's what I love about, there is so much diversity in unity, right? There's diversity in unity, and I love that.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about traditions, and my this past Christmas, my husband was traveling overseas, and I had so many friends that were just shocked that I was okay with it, and it didn't even like occur to me that it would be anything that I would be upset about. I was happy for him and where he was going, and I really just was focusing on a beautiful memory that I would create with me and my daughter and my friends, and so let it be fresh and live, and what's life presenting to me, and how can I create magic and beauty and a memory out of something like that, instead of focusing on holding on to something that maybe doesn't need to be held on to.
Yeah, and he doesn't celebrate Christmas,
It does with us,
right?
but
And
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so it's not a big thing in his world. And yeah, no, that makes total sense. I think that's great. And that's just it. It's like, yeah, there's just so many places where tradition, like I said, is beautiful. So in ceremonies now, in marriage ceremonies, the words "I do" are not in there anymore. Some people. So when I'm officiating a wedding, I always ask, "Hey, the words I do aren't in there anymore." And so, but we can put them in if you want to. Now, I've had couples say, "Oh my God, my grandmother and grandfather would be leaving going, did you hear them say I do? I didn't. Did you? Are they really married?" Because that is tradition to them, right? And yeah, and so yeah, and so it's looking at the whole picture and who is involved if we want to. Like I said, for it's not a big deal to say I do. If the grandparents are going to leave all confused, then can we give them that? You know what I mean? Can I give them that? Yeah, it's not a big deal for me. Okay, and
You want it,
yeah,
you got it.
you got it exactly. Yeah. So what else? What else are some? Yeah, and so when it comes to you being the one who so-called breaks what somebody else might see that you're breaking a tradition, you have to be okay with that, right? So that's where you kind of look at what is this creating? Am I okay with how others are going to see me if I'm the one? Right? And just finding a place of, yeah, I am okay. And not from a place of needing to do justification or anything like that. Because when we do justification on our yes or our no, when somebody says why, when we do justification, it can water down our yes or our no. It does water it down, right? And so my yes is a yes and my no is a no. When somebody says to me, why? For me, the response is typically, I have no idea. It's just a big no for me. It's just a big no. And I might not even say I have no idea. It's typically, you know what, it's just a big no for me. And I had someone recently say, yeah, but why is it a no for you? You know what, it's just a no for me. And yeah, which that
And
goes along everything, not just tradition, right?
yeah,
Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. And yeah, and to, you know, again, maybe you're going to keep the I do's for the grandparents because that's important, and
It's
maybe there's
important
a
to them, yeah.
yeah, and maybe there's a time where your no is stronger than you know, the impact it's going to create for others. So just being okay with either, and again, it just comes down to the curiosity and looking at what it will create for you.
Yeah, and like I said, when it comes to so there was a quite a while ago, I used to facilitate sweat lodges, and I would often have the locals say, "But are you traditional?" And my response to that was this: it would be, "Well, it depends on what your understanding of the meaning of traditional is." Do I do something the way that it was delivered to humanity and consciousness like 1,000 years ago, where consciousness was different than where it is now? Or do I listen and be present and have and be able to receive what's going to contribute to the people in the sweat lodge at that time? Because to me, that was how the tradition was created all those years ago. Was somebody was listening, somebody was present, somebody was delivering what was required in those times for that group. So yeah, I'm traditional, very traditional. Do I follow the way it was written out, word by word? No, no, because that's not how someone received it traditionally. Do I follow the format and the structure? Of course. Of course I do. I follow the structure and I follow the format, but I don't follow the how once we're inside there. It's who's there, what's there, what's the energy, and that's what I follow. And yeah, so I'm very traditional. Yeah.
I love it.
It's what's required in the moment. That's how a lot of these things were created back in the day,
It's
right?
exactly what was required then. Yeah,
Yeah. And so to be traditional, I am being traditional with what is now.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Because that, like I said, that's how these traditions were created in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's lovely to carry them forward. It is. And some of them we still, again, tweak it and twack it. I just made a word up. But we, yeah, yeah,
Oh, beautiful.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for the contemplation and the exploration, and thank you for listening, for watching, for for contributing your energy and your consciousness to what comes forth in these conversations. If you feel like this would benefit anyone, we would really appreciate the shares, the likes, the subscribes, the comments, everything you got. Any love you got for us, we'll take it because it helps. We'll take the love. We're willing to
All the
receive.
love. I love
Amazing. And
it.
until next time, so much love.
Ta ta.